Ready? 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 For about the last month, I've had a sticky note here on the board that none of you even saw. Unnamed DJI product. And that came this morning. It's December 1st. And what I believe this is the new DJI FPV drone racing system. So, just a thought, and something that I want to bring up is that this is before there were any rumors, any unboxings leaked, anything like that. Like, nobody had any idea what this thing was going to be like. So, my reaction, my excitement about it is genuine here. I'm not, like, faking this for camera. This legitimately was, like, 3 months ago, before anyone knew anything about this. I've left all of this in, this unboxing, because I want you to see how excited I am about what the potential of this is before all of the drama and all of the leaking it and being like, oh my god, da, da, da. I was very excited to learn what this product was. So I've left all this in there because I think it's a great just moment seeing how I am feeling about this, being one of the first people to see what it is. From what I understand, this whole system is a little bit more aimed at someone who is beginning their journey into FPV than it is for like the professional FPV person. It does have modes ranging all the way from very, very basic of like flying like a Mavic all the way up to full manual flight. So I'm excited to pop this out, get it in the air, and see what DJI has come up with. So much goodness. Like, hold on, don't even look yet. Can't even know. Okay, this is the DJI FPV combo. I am super excited to get into this, to see what they've come up with. Boom. The DJI FPV drone. Okay, let's start with goggles. Are these standard DJI goggles? Oh no, look very closely right there. It says DJI FPV goggles V2. They look very similar. Everything else looks pretty much the same as the first version. Wonder if they work with existing stuff. And then here's the drone. The battery is fully internal, it looks like. You've got a gimbal cover, and then there's your gimbal. It's a little bit soft mounted, and it bends and tilts up and down. It also uses the same like stabilization software that the Osmo Action uses. Vision sensors on the front, bottom, very bottom. Looks like there's a landing light, and then battery is there. How do I get the battery out? Squeeze and pull. Oh yeah, and so the battery just uses this plug here, and it plugs into the top of the drone there, and then like inside the butt is where the rest of that drone is. So I actually expect that to fly pretty well because it's so, like all of the weight is condensed. That's the DJI drone. Let's set that aside for now. It also feels pretty chunky. Like, it's not super heavy, but like, it's not gonna break instantly. I don't think. I hope. Seems good. Seems really good. Okay. Pull this up. Got propellers. Little 5-inch props, custom. And these are the B side. So it goes props out. That locks on there pretty good. I don't know if that's gonna stay on or not, but I assume it'll do pretty good. Another box of props. So we get 8 props in the bag, it looks like. Locked in, locked in, locked in. Cool, 5 props, or 4 props, not 5. And then here's the controller. That looks familiar. Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a certain group of people that'll be a little bit upset about this, but I'm actually really excited about this because the old DJI controller is a little bit cumbersome. You've got stop, start, record there, gimbal change, return to home, pause, return to home, full manual, sport mode, all that stuff. Don't know what that does. Take a picture, it's like a normal photo. And then the control sticks are right here, and you can take them, pull them out, and then screw it into the actual thing. So it doesn't, well, you might be able to change the length of these. So definitely designed for the, you know what? The pinch actually feels pretty good. I was a little bit worried that I wouldn't be able to, because I'm a hybrid pincher especially, but like going up to the end, I feel pretty good on that. Down to the bottom, easy, inside, outside. But I don't feel like I'm going to be imprecise with this. Like, that feels pretty good. Got a C1, some sort of function button, and that's it. USB-C charging. Set that aside. Let's take a look in here. AC power adapter and goggle battery. Goggle battery. The previous versions did not come with goggle batteries. That looks like just a normal charger plug. 2 USBs on there, so you can charge your goggles, controller, and the battery all in one. That's the battery lead. So the balance, I guess there's some extra pins in there. Yeah, and there's receivers on there. So there's receivers in there, and then pins in there. And I wonder if that has some way of balancing it. I mean, I would assume so. Or it has some sort of BMS that balances it internally. Pretty exciting. Cool, so charger. And then this is the goggle battery. So just a kind of little pocketable battery. There's a USB-C on there. Maybe for charge and discharge. That's cool. Goggle strap, USB A to C, USB C to barrel. This battery takes 5-volt input and outputs 9 volts. Max. Oh, antennas for the goggles. More antennas for goggles. I believe you can connect your phone to this drone. That was kind of an unboxing of this bad boy. We'll get it set up and then get it out to fly.
That's short. I'm actually kind of surprised at how small it is for what you get in there, man. It looks like a rocket ship, that's for sure. Sweet. I'm super stoked. That's gonna be fun, man. Micro SD card slot. The gimbal, I'm not sure what to think about that, but until you fly, you don't know, but I'm assuming they did it for a reason. All right. I like that a lot more than the big one, for sure. That's nice. It has a good, solid feel to it. They did a good job. Usual DJI quality.
Shell.
The build quality. They always have good build quality on their stuff. Unless you look at the Phantom 2 remotes, those things felt like toys.
Now we're going to power up everything for the first time. Controller, double tap. Goggles are plugged in. I've already zip tied them. That's my biggest complaint about DJI products, is that that plug slips out all the time. So you gotta double tap the little battery bank. The goggles come on. And now the drone. Standard DJI double tap here on the power button. Look at those LEDs. Those look so sick. Oh, I love it. Okay, new user guide. Before you fly, let's watch a series of 3 short videos. No, let's not. I see the app. I'm going to click connect aircraft. Oh, I'm supposed to connect the cable to the goggles, not to my drone. Always open DJI Fly when DJI Glass is connected. Ooh, it's doing something. It's still showing a Mavic Air, but that's okay. Okay, so we're going to activate it. 3, restart aircraft to complete activation. Ready? Cautiously optimistic. Like, I'd be really stoked if this thing works in some of the ways that I want it to. I don't know what will. Oh, unfortunately, we have to do an update. So I didn't calibrate the compass, maybe. So I'm doing the DJI dance. Most dramatic compass calibration in the world.
All right, so flat 360.
Oh, my hands are so cold.
Tip the nose up. That sunset though.
There we go. It works this time. Kind of all over the place with the wind and the GPS modes. Image is crystal clear. I'm just kind of like cruising right along. Does some weird stuff, that's for sure. It's kind of like wandering around a little bit. Oh, there's an H over top of us. Like, it shows me exactly where we are. That is actually freaking sweet. Like, it's literally just update, like it's a crosshair.
Yeah,
like
cool.
Pointing straight at us. That is so cool. I didn't even know that was gonna happen. So it's kind of like, I can't really describe it even. I'm just gonna keep flying for now. Okay, so what's messing with my head is that gosh, the video is so crystal clear. What's messing with my head is that it feels like a fixed wing, more or less, because the angle of the camera's not changing. So it's like constantly at the same level. And so like it makes flying it a little bit strange for my brain right now. And like when I yaw, it like rolls. Does that make sense? So like if I just flat yaw, it's rolling around like a plane would. Oh, that's so weird. So right now, I'm not giving it any roll. I'm not giving it any aileron. It's just doing it, it's mixing it in with the yaw stick. So like I'm just flying flat out and it's doing like a perfect coordinated turn for me without me doing it. Which, for a beginner, I can see how that would be really useful, but for me it's like totally bonkers. Like it's super messing with my brain. Dude, the home point is so cool. Here, come take a look at this. I'm just gonna let it hover in position mode, which is so cool. Okay, taking off my goggles, handing them to you, handing them to Winston. Okay, so I'm just gonna yaw it. I'm yawing it around. You see how it just holds the position there?
That's so cool.
It's still funny that you can just take your goggles off with an FPV.
Oh, I love it. Nice. Just did the first flight with this thing. It was weird. I think I have a lot of education to do for myself on it because I didn't quite get the flight modes right, and I didn't understand how it was going to fly. Like it really messed with my head when it was just like when I would yaw it and it would aileron roll, and I was just like, what? No, you can't do that. And so it just kind of messes with my head. So I got to get a little more education on what the flight modes are. I still don't even know what to expect or understand, but I also flew for like 6 or 7 minutes and I still have half my battery. So let's get back. We'll do some more, get some better understanding. See the little guy? and then we'll get out and fly again. Come out to the field to test more of the DJI Digital FPV drone. Got everything that we need packed into this bag, including more props. And we don't even need a prop tool to swap them because they've got that cool quick release system. But the reason that I've come to this spot is for a couple different reasons, actually. First of all, we have some pretty good range that we can do. So this whole school is available for distance, but then there's also some metal stuff that we can kind of pop down behind and do a little bit of testing on like how the penetration does. And then finally, we've also got some good stuff to kind of freestyle and cruise around. We can go a long way in each direction, and it should be a really fun, really good place to test out the machine. Okay, switching to manual, double tapping, and going. What I can't describe for you very well, unfortunately, is just how freaking clean the video is. It is millions of times better than the standard DJI Air units, like with the normal goggles. It doesn't do it justice to just say that, but it looks really good. And it looks like I'm harassing these birds, but they are a huge nuisance. On my screen, on my OSD in the goggles, I don't know how to demonstrate this very well, there's like a home point that's built into the actual screen where it's like a little H where I'm standing. It's super cool to be able to just like see instantly where I am when I'm flying, so I know when I need to be heading back towards home. But yeah, I'm just doing some cruising. There's some more geese. I'm kind of dipping down low underneath some obstacles at range. Not really seeing much breakup yet. I see a little bit of focus mode happening. Kind of just wiggling it back and forth, but I still have insanely good video for how far away I am. Like, this new version is so good. Like, it just doesn't do it justice how good it looks in here. Like, I would not normally be getting this low with a standard Air unit. So I've now been flying for, let's see, does it show how long I've been flying? I've been recording for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but I accidentally started and stopped that somewhere into the flight, but it's still predicting 9 minutes of flight left. She's still got some speed to her. You just crank up the tilt. A lot of tilt for her. We can also practice flying with negative tilt too. Oh gosh. Still flying backwards. Now I'm finally going forwards. Oh my gosh, that's so hard. We could like kind of dive. Oh yeah, look at that. Still haven't quite got my rates perfectly dialed yet. You can see that there's definitely some weirdness. Like, you can see when it lands on its own tune, it kind of like just, you see how much vibration and stuff there is in there. Okay, so now we want to go into here. Let's go low tilt. So I just pushed it down to 5 degrees, and we're gonna scoot our way into the dugout. And crank it back up for freestyle. It's a little too much. It doesn't carry itself very well. Like, there's, like, if I try to like let it float upside down, something about it prevents it from really doing a good job of that. Okay, and I'm bringing it back. I'm getting over top of where I am, and boom, position mode. And then I can just bring it in line of sight. Hold the stick all the way down and just let it land itself, walk away, no big deal. That's so cool. I mean, I know that's obvious, like, features for DJI sort of stuff, but like, it's kind of convenient for racing drones. So like, especially think about like if you're filming, and I know that this is probably not going to end up being like a filmmaking tool necessarily. Say you're, you know, in position A, waiting to get a shot of something, and you're waiting for the director to call action, and it's been like 4 or 5 minutes. Like, hovering a drone and just keeping it in the same spot is kind of a pain, right? Like, it's hard to make sure that it's staying level and stuff. So having the ability to put it in position hold wait for a bit, and then as soon as action is ready, you take over with the manual sticks and go. Like, that's gonna be a really powerful thing. So let's see if we can take it out of position hold while it's in the air, put it into manual mode, fly down, and, you know, do a shot or something like that, and kind of pretend that we're on set. Okay, so we took off in manual mode. I'm just getting into a nice cruising position. And so say my shot is gonna be to go from like the scoreboard right down to center field for a softball hit or something, I don't know, or for right down to home plate. So I'm gonna set it here, put it in position mode, and we're just chilling, waiting for the director to be ready. I can get this, I can, you know, take off, just, you know, keep my hands off the controls, look around, check to make sure. I'm looking at my phone, which has all the settings of the camera and stuff like that. I know you can't see it, but it's just like sitting right here. And, oh, we're getting close to ready to go, ready to call action. Okay, gonna pop up, click it into manual mode, put sticks to center. And on the screen, you can actually see a display that shows you that you should be lining your sticks up to center, but in my version, this feature did not work, and I was not able to put the drone back into manual mode after switching out of that mode. But in spite of that, I believe that this is a feature that is going to be showcased eventually in the final product, or maybe there's just a bug with mine or something like that, but I know it's something that they have developed, put time into, and is a thing that they want to see happen. And just as a side note, this shot is all in sport mode, not in manual mode. Well, that was cool. It's a cool little moment, kind of on accident. Okay, so I cannot get this thing to go back into manual mode. So I click it, I wait, and then it says put your sticks here. I put my sticks there. It says use the control stick to move the cursor to the green line. The cursor doesn't seem to be responding at all. So I don't know if I have something set up wrong or what. So I've got to just come back in sport mode. Put it down. Switch it back over, and we're off in manual mode now. So let's try return to home. So I'm gonna fly out to the other side of the field, just full bore, chilling. Okay, so now we are, what, 400 meters from home? Set it into, and then I'm gonna just click and hold the return to home. Return to home, ascending. So now we are in full return to home mode. It's doing itself, doing it all on its own. Like, I can even can I pop open a map? Yes, I can. I can see a map of everywhere that I have been. I'm just chilling. It's at 100 meters, just cruising its way back on over. And go back in and look at the screen. That's pretty cool, actually. So, like, I see that as being, like, potentially really valuable when you're, like, you know, doing like a long range mission or something like that. I'm gonna tell it to return to home again. I did that with the screen this time instead of with the controller. Pretty much overhead. I think I can turn the angle of the FPV camera down so I can see when we're directly over top of us, which would be really cool for like if you're like trying to work somewhere where there's like a canopy and you need to just descend through something. You can just put it in position mode and kind of come back down through it. No, there you go. Now it's landing. Pretty cool. Pretty cool for an FPV drone. I mean, it's not something that you normally have access to. At least not to the precision that this has. It really does not like coming down through its prop wash. I just moved it over a little bit because I didn't like how close it was coming down to me, but that's okay. I'm not doing anything. I like that. Every time I start and stop the motors, it is starting a new recording, which is kind of nice. So just kind of like the normal DJI Air units do, just automatically making sure that you have a recording happening, which can be nice, especially when if you accidentally forget to start your GoPro or something like that. It's kind of annoying for me right now because I'm trying to film both, you know, camera and gimbal and all that stuff. So it's kind of like it gets a little messed up. One thing I'm noticing is that the frame rate kind of seems a little bit lower than it has been in the past. Like there's a little bit of kind of perceived latency as a result of that. I'm not super excited about, but I don't know if I'm misunderstanding that. But gosh, does it look good in here. Like I see the details out of everything. Much better than any other Air unit experience I've had so far. I love that landing process. Just flick. So I just found a feature that I wasn't even aware of. There's a Find My Drone feature, which will show me on a map exactly where it is, but I can also push this button that says start flashing and beeping. That is loud. Like, you'd be able to hear that from a long way off. So, assuming the battery stayed connected when that happened, like, you'd be able to find that pretty much anywhere. So if I put the throttle stick centered and hit the takeoff button, hold that down. It's really fickle about where centered is. Oh gosh. Shoo! Go away. So if I could get it to work with the manual mode switch, this would actually be really convenient because I can just fly it off my phone for a sec. Like I could put it like into a GPS coordinate location because I can see like, you know, what the altitude is and everything, and then switch, you know, now that it's out 54 meters at a distance of 500 feet, you know, put it there, put the goggles on, and then start flying. But the problem is I don't have the ability to switch it back into manual mode. We were descending a little bit there. So we'll just put it into position home return and just let it fly on back. Controller's there, drone's over there. We can just walk on up, no big deal. So yeah, anyway, I hope that this was all pretty informative on what the DJI Digital FPV drone can do. It's a pretty impressive little machine for especially what it is. Like, I want all of these features, but in the powertrain that I decide, with the tune that I decide. But I think this is a good enough testing for tonight. The sunset isn't quite as epic as we were hoping for, but I think we got enough done with this drone for one night. What do you think? All right, see you soon. Alright, I was freestyling the DJI FPV drone here at this beautiful park and clipped a playground item and flipped over. I'm curious to see if the props have broken. This is probably like the first like decent crash I've had with it. I don't know, the props don't seem very strong. And there's obviously no turtle mode, so I still gotta go pick it up. Ugh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything's Gucci. Alright, we're good to put her up in the air again. So, a few thoughts about the DJI drone. I've been bashing it for the last few minutes, trying to get it to like, not trying to break it, but I definitely want to do some durability testing. I've been trying to kind of really send it here. I've been holding back on some of my freestyles so far, like not trying to send it through a bunch of gaps and stuff. I want to have some destruction, right? I want to know how durable is it. Like I don't want to break it, but I also know that you guys are gonna be like, it's gonna break immediately. And I smashed it around pretty good in the last few minutes. But one thing that I'm noticing from the camera position being somewhat high and the front landing gear being down is that when I think I'm gonna make it like low under something, I like scrape the chin of it on the ground and it just does like one complete front flip and then keeps going. And that happened to me, I think like 3 times in that run, where I just like scraped the chin, roll, and then kept going. And I was just like, this is inconvenient. But I mean, it's definitely not a freestyle machine. Like the way that it flies, the amount of weight that it has, like it just kind of doesn't carry over stuff, and the tune is a little bit weird, so I wish there was a way to play with that a little bit more. I don't know, it's not bad, but it's like the last thing that I would pick for freestyle. If I was gonna do like cruising, mountain cruising, that sort of thing, sure, great, but like to try to rip it through a park like that, I don't know. Anyways, let's do some chasing now. I think I want to put a whole sequence of just trying to hit gaps with this while Winston chases me around with the drone. So let's do that now. So since I pulled this out of the box in December, I've only used one set of props. They're starting to get a little bit frustrated, but they're still hanging in there surprisingly well. I'm impressed by that. Okay, so one thing that I was hoping to do was do a test where like I put a GoPro or an Insta360 or something on it, which I've done successfully. I actually had to like basically screw like actual screws into the frame of the drone to get it to stay on there. But what I've noticed is that the tune does not like having something else hanging on there. Have a listen. It's so angry. Here we go, one more. That's full down throttle. Winston, in order to fly the DJI Digital F, so this is gonna be Winston's first flight on the DJI drone.
I'm gonna go from acro. Oh, Jesus Christ. I tried to take off. Okay, I didn't give enough throttle. Okay, I gotta say, holy crap, it's clear. So I'm noticing on the DJI, it seems like the image quality is a little bit better than what you have on from my DJI experience so far, which is limited, but oh yeah, it's got plenty of punch to have some fun. I mean, I feel like I picked up an FPV drone, I can't lie. Yeah, dude, it flies like a drone. Yeah, no, this is noticeably clearer. To me, it's just, that's nice.
It's hard to describe how much clearer it is, but it's surprisingly good.
I mean, it's like blades of grass and needles on the tree versus just being really nice. Whoa, these rates are weird.
Yeah, I think you'll see that you have better penetration too.
Yeah, see back here I was getting a lot of breakup and it's still like, it's fine. So yeah, first impression so far, I'm just trying to give it a nice gentle cruise around here, nothing too crazy. I mean, it feels like a FPV drone. It just feels like a freestyle quad as far as like the weight. It could have a little bit more power to be similar to what we're used to, but yeah, so like you were saying earlier, the throttle resolution is not what I was expecting there. It seems like it's way soft, like I'm moving a third of the stick there. So the throttle resolution is not what I'm used to. I don't know if it's not as much power or just how it's programmed. But I definitely bottomed out when I tried to do that split S. Just didn't have what I thought it did. Still plenty to have some fun, but nothing overpowered like I'm used to. So I mean, if I'm coming from FPV to fly this, it's not gonna knock my socks off, but if you're used to Mavic, holy crap. I mean, it's still the FPV experience. Oh man, okay, so yeah, something like this for cruising would be great because you're still gonna get that experience. And if you can get this kind of, oh shit, it's landing.
All I've never seen it do that before. Wait,
5%.
So what happened? Describe.
All right, so I'm having a little bit too much fun, not paying attention to battery, and it just basically came to a slow stop and landed. Luckily, I was more than a foot off the ground, but it didn't like that. It says I got 4% left. But hey, it beats falling out of the sky any day. No, that was pretty nice. That definitely saved our bacon on that, so. Love watching Paul walk away, let me tell you. Hey-o. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with what it is and what it does, and it does do it well. Coming from the FPV world, it doesn't have as much speed or fun factor as what I'm used to, but if I look at it from coming from anyone else in the drone world, it's a lot of fun. The big upgrades I see, the controller's really nice. It took me a second. That's a lot nicer than the larger DJI receiver that I see with him, or controller that I see that he has. The image quality was amazing. That thing for long range, I would definitely choose something like that long range over an FPV quad, for the sheer fact that like the video looks awesome and the return to home, battery management, all that stuff makes it nice for long range, what he was saying earlier. So definitely have to agree with him on that. But yeah, no, that's a fun quad to fly.
So we are at the end of a long few months of testing the DJI FPV drone, and today was one of the first days that we got to really crank on it, right? I've been kind of holding back for the last couple months to make sure that I didn't destroy it before I got to make a video with it. And I think all of the assumptions that I made at the very beginning of this process have come true, right? It's not something that's necessarily designed for people that are already heavily into FPV. It's a great item for people to make a transition from traditional drones and into the FPV world. It's limited, but it's not holding you back necessarily. I was able to power loop, hit gaps, chase cars, and do all sorts of stuff with it. Am I going to say it's like the ultimate filmmaking tool, or like we all were hoping that the gimbal would be this amazing godsend of a thing? But it's nice. It helps. It makes some things cool, makes some things annoying. But for the most part, I think it's in the market exactly where it needs to be, right? In order for FPV to grow, we need traditional drone operators to start making the jump over, and a tool like this in their hands is going to get them to kind of get the bug and to kind of start thinking about, how do we do this? How do we incorporate this? And for me, seeing people transition over is what's going to help create that rising tide lifts all ships sort of situation, and I think the DJI FPV drone is the perfect tool to finish that. If you guys are catching me for the first time, we make all sorts of videos about drones, drone-related things, vlogs, drone lifestyle. Like in a couple days, we're heading to California to film stuff just because we can. And it's gonna be really, really cool. So please stick along for the journey by hitting that subscribe button. If you're interested in purchasing any of the products featured in this video, we have affiliate links in the description below for a bunch of different stores, and it would be a huge help if you chose to use those. Finally, if you are not interested in purchasing the product, but you still want to support the channel, you can always join up on Patreon or using the YouTube membership. Your help means everything to us because it allows us to make more content like this. But until the next time, stay flying.